Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, our praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash, Brakathum. Double honor shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone, who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, a great millstone in like-minded camps and individuals, who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to the sincere Akwads, who are continuously learning in silence, as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right. So, guess again what this video is pertaining to. you got it. The third woe. All right. So, what's going on now is that a lot of these Babylonians are trying to dodge the war. They're trying to dodge the war. And they're also trying to dodge the upcoming military draft. Because if you think that's not going to happen, guess again. Oh, hell yeah, it's going to be a military draft the way this war is going. All right? Because now they're saying that up to 13,000 U.S. military troops have been deleted. All right? That's what the Iranians are saying. And that amount could be less than that. But you best to believe that there are definitely thousands of these troops that have been deleted. So I will tend to believe those Persians. Like I mentioned in the video, I am more susceptible to believe in them than to believe in the Western media. All right? So the title for my video today will be, they're not trying to fight. All right? Simply put, they are not trying to fight. So what you see here on your screen is from the Times of India. And the title for this video you see on the screen is American Troops Scramble to Dodge Iran War Orders. Major blow to Trump's Iran war push. Okay? So, I'm going to play this video in its entirety because it's about 9 minutes long. And then, of course, Abaratazah, Lord willing, upon the conclusion of this video, I will put up some mighty precepts to support why these Babylonian troops are scrambling to dodge Iran war orders. All right? So without further delay, let's go.
A prominent anti-war activist and filmmaker says a growing number of U.S. troops and their families are reaching out for help to avoid fighting in the ongoing U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Mike Preisner, executive director of the Center on Conscience and War, says his organization has been flooded with calls from American service members seeking ways to avoid participation in the conflict. Posting on social media, Preisner wrote that the phone at his organization has been ringing off the hook, with many soldiers and their next of kin asking about options to dodge involvement in the offensive. Preisner shared details of one conversation he says he had with the mother of a service member deployed in the region. According to him, the soldier was given what was described as a final phone call home before being ordered to turn in his phone. During that call, the soldier told his mother that his unit was preparing for a boots-on-the-ground deployment later that night. Preisner also said the soldier relayed what his commander told the troops about the mission. According to the activist, the commander reportedly said the deployment was meant to bring about what he described as the second coming of Christ. Preisner further claimed that many of the servicemen had not initially been told they were heading into a combat deployment. Instead, he said they had been informed that they were traveling for training exercises.
Shut up. All right, so let's stop right here. So you see how the American military, they are going through the cheap process of lying to their troops and tricking their troops into going into combat. You know, if that's not low, I don't know what is. All right, let's continue.
The remarks come as protests have erupted in several major cities across the United States against the military strikes on Iran. Large crowds have gathered in downtown Seattle, as well as in Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Demonstrators in those cities have voiced opposition to the joint U.S.-Israeli military campaign targeting Iranian cities. Protesters have also expressed concerns over civilian casualties and the broader consequences of the conflict. Public opinion surveys suggest significant skepticism among Americans about the war. A poll conducted by the University of Maryland shows that only 21% of respondents supported a war on Iran. The survey found that a large majority of those questioned opposed military action. Critics have also pointed to President Donald Trump's campaign pledge during the 2024 election. At the time, Trump had promised what he described as no new war. Some supporters now feel betrayed by the administration's decision to launch strikes. Reports of civilian casualties have also intensified criticism. According to a recent report by the New York Times, evidence indicates that the United States targeted a girls' elementary school in the southern Iranian city of Manab during a strike on February 28th. The attack reportedly killed more than 170 people, most of them children. For many veterans of earlier U.S. wars, the conflict with Iran is drawing comparisons to the 2003 invasion of Iraq. That war launched.
Yeah, so Babylon got to really feel all high and mighty for hitting that school with all those young Persian girls that got deleted. They got to really feel good about that. All right, let's continue.
Over claims of weapons of mass destruction later became one of the most controversial conflicts in modern American history. Veterans say the current situation raises similar concerns about long-term instability and the lack of a clear endgame. In Washington, several lawmakers who previously served in the military have also raised questions about the war. Among them is Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona, a Marine Corps veteran who served in Iraq. Gallego warned that the lack of a clearly defined strategy is deeply concerning. He said it is a frightening situation when there is no clear explanation of the plan, the goals, or what victory would look like. Gallego also argued that the war is illegal. He said there was no imminent threat that would justify bypassing congressional authorization for
Nope.
military action.
Nope.
Another critic is Democratic Representative Chris DeLuzio of Pennsylvania, a Navy veteran who also served during the Iraq War. DeLuzio questioned those supporting the conflict. He asked what he called a simple question: how many American troops should die for the war? However, veteran opinion on the conflict remains divided. Some lawmakers with military backgrounds have publicly backed the president's actions. Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, a combat veteran of the Iraq War, defended the administration. She said the 6 American service members killed by Iran gave their lives in what she described as a noble mission to protect fellow Americans and defend the homeland. Despite the criticism and protests, political support for the president remains strong among parts of the veteran community. According to exit polls, Donald Trump won nearly 2/3 of the veteran vote in the 2024 election. Many veterans, particularly older ones, continue to support the president's decision to strike Iran. They argued that the action was necessary against what they see as a regime determined to threaten the United States. As the war continues and tensions rise, debates over the conflict are intensifying across the country, both among the public and within the ranks of those who have served in uniform.
See this? This is a 400-ounce bar of solid gold. Back in the 20s, this could buy...
All right. Ibidi. That's all, folks. So, like I said, it was a quick video. And listen, there's no doubt about it. Make no bones about it. All right? That this war is going to continue. Why? Because it's prophesied in the biblical scriptures. All right? So, they already confirmed through the military that they're going to be sending boots on the ground. All right? I think I heard about 100,000 boots that's going to be sent on the ground. So again, you Jakes out there, and I said this before and I'll say it again. You Jakes out there that's either already in the military or contemplating on joining the military. Your ass is grass. You're screwed. All right? You're being sent to your early graves because y'all ain't coming back. That's the point. Y'all not coming back. Once y'all get there, y'all staying there until the Armageddon takes place, and then ultimately the Lord's second coming. All right? So let's go to some precepts. So we get to Zephaniah 1:14, and it reads, "The great day of the Lord is near." And isn't that what's going on? You know, the military is talking about Armageddon, that this mission is to bring about Armageddon. It is near and hasted greatly. All right? Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. Ooh. They're going to be crying and bitching up. Why you think right now they're trying to dodge the war orders? All right? Because they know. They know what's up. They know what's going to happen. All right? So we get to the book of Ecclesiastes 3:8. And again, for you party hardy jakes out there that still want to live it up, champagne lifestyle, well, it reads, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So pick sense out of nonsense with this precept. What time is it? Do you know what time it is? Well, right now, we're in a time of hate and a time of war. We're not in a time of love and peace. Like these pork chop eating pastors, Pastor Pork Chops wants to preach in these churches to this very day. No, we're in a time of hate and war. All right? Jeremiah 30:5, and it reads, for thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Woo! Salakia. All right? This is a time of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. We're not in that time anymore. All right? Y'all better get used to this concept. And in Jeremiah 36, it reads, ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins? Or in other words, his hands on his nuts, his nutsacks, as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned into paleness. Woo! We're in that time now. So I say it again. That's why these Babylonians, they're trying to scrabble not to serve. They're not trying to fight. They're in travail as a woman. All right? So, listen. And like I said, there is going to be a military draft. Matter of fact, let me get that image. You see it right here? House passes defense bill, automatically registering men, and it's going to be women too, 18 to 26 years old for draft. Woo! You see it right there on your screen. The House passed that defense bill. So it's in effect. There is going to be a military draft. And I've been seeing some video posts of a lot of these Jake women in their military fatigues. Now they worrying. They're worrying because they're about to be sent out. They're about to be sent out to die in that battle. All right? So before that, it was all fun and games and holding around in the military for these Jakes, these female Jakes. Right? But now, the party's over. They're about to go to war. And they're going to die. All right? So let that marinate. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this lesson for this morning. And as always, hopefully edification was brought forth. So with that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Kudash, Brakatham, Kwam, Yasharal, Rise Israel. And as always, Abaratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.